Hi, everybody. It is your favorite digital mentors, Carrie and Edward, and we are back with another episode of Stand Up Retail. This episode is about goal creation. We are calling it New Year, New You.
Nice.
How can you create New Year's work resolutions and some tips to help you stick to achieving the goals? Stick to the actions that are required. So, what do you want to do differently in the new year? When we think about making a New Year's resolution at work, you want to approach it almost like you're approaching a regular New Year's resolution, but that's where all the red flags should fly up. Think about the New Year's resolutions you've made in your life. Creating a work goal is the exact same thing. So we're going to look at how you can make them and then how you can keep working towards them. Yeah. You have got to create a specific goal. And when I say a specific goal, I mean specific. I don't mean something very general. Like, I want to make more money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's not specific. That is a goal, but it's not something that has a target. There's really no way to measure it because promoted could mean a lot of things.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that. So I think a lot of times we get mixed up in that whole thing that when we look at reviews and we look at goals, we're looking at to be promoted.
Well, yeah. And that goes to the point of, telling your boss what they want to hear isn't always necessarily the smartest thing for you or your workplace satisfaction. Right. But I think creating specific goals is really, really important. And we'll talk a little bit about that, like I said, with a couple of examples. The other thing is I suggest everybody limit themselves to giving themselves only a maximum of 3 goals a year.
That's good.
And the reason why is if within 2 to 3 months you've already achieved the goals, you didn't set good goals. Or you didn't set challenging enough goals because you underestimated your ability. And you should take that as an opportunity to create 3 more goals. Create specific, challenging, actionable goals and limit them. Because if you give yourself a list of 10 things that you want to accomplish, you may not accomplish any of them because you're trying to work on all of them.
Yeah.
So really limit it to 3. And then you need to take those 3 goals and identify the actions that you need to personally take that are within your control to achieve them. What is required of you within your current space, blooming where you're planted, going back to one of our favorite phrases. What actions do you own, do you control that you can take to take yourself to achieve that goal? So how do you keep them? How do you work towards them? The key really is taking those actions and breaking them down into small steps. So if you really think about the actions that need to happen for you, will get promoted 1 level. If you know that means you need to achieve your goals in your current role, you need to step up when asked by your supervisor, and you need to express interest whenever an opportunity does arise. There are little steps in each of those actions that you can take every single day. So making sure that you know the small steps involved, because you can't skip over those steps. You can't get promoted without achieving goals. You can't get a raise without, you can't maximize your earnings without hitting all of the milestones along the way. You can't skip from being non-commission to commission without showing the skill to be a good commission employee. So also getting support. That's the number 2 reason.
And that's
First,
really
knowing your
important.
personal steps is really important.
Yeah.
If you're not strong in those actions or skills, you need to identify the people within your location or team or supervisory group that can help you learn what you need to be able to do that step well. So there are ways for you to keep yourself on track, and it starts really from you making that goal yourself.
Yep.
You understanding the actions that you yourself personally can take to achieve it, and then also trying to find others to support you. The next one is making sure that you find a way to reward yourself, and recognize when you actually deserve a reward. And this one is really hard because a lot of times it requires you to be very comfortable with tooting your own horn.
Exactly.
Yourself. Now, a good leader will recognize it before you have to ask.
Right.
Because you've had that conversation and because you've experienced that conversation where you expressed what you want to accomplish to your supervisor, they will be on the lookout for those things. And finally, the last thing that you really should do is be able to link your goal to the goal for the greater good. So going back to that example of, I want to move up one level. I want to maximize my earnings at my current level. If you know the actions that go into being promoted, if you know the skills you need to develop so you can be ready, if you know the milestones you have to achieve in order to maximize your earnings, you also need to be able to express that back to your boss and say, this is my goal. My goal is going to help you and help our team and help the company, because in order for me to do this, I'm committing to get better at XYZ, which means if I do that, I'm going to be selling more. I'm going to have, my area is going to be recovered better. It's going to be a better customer experience. You have to be able to link it back to that organizational goal or that team goal or location goal, because that little common space where those two circles overlap, that's your common goal. And that immediately gets your supervisor buy-in immediately. Right. So there it is, Edward. And really, all of these steps are very, very simple to hold yourself accountable to, and will help you be less likely to walk away from them. Edward, what do you think? What do you want to review anything, any topic or any part of this conversation in detail a little bit more? Or
well, you touched up on a lot of great points here, and I love that you broke it down in the two parts, and how do you make the goals, and then how do you keep them. Those are probably the two things that are very, very key to making sure that you accomplish what you said. I cannot re-emphasize how important it is that when you go in and you sit down for these annual reviews, that you have taken the time to think about what it is you want to accomplish going into them. So being for us talking about that was very key, because a lot of times, like we said earlier, a lot of times we go into these annual reviews expecting our boss or our leaders, because they're our leaders, to tell us what we need to accomplish to do whatever it is that they need us to do in the following year, where that's not what an annual review is for. An annual review is for your progress. It's for you to get better, for you to do better, for you to move forward. And I think we forget about that a lot. And the review becomes something that's directed at us. So I think that, having these key things to work towards, keeping it small, getting support, recognizing your own success. I think that's key. I think a lot of times we get caught up in waiting for someone to reward us for the work we do, but not realizing that this was a goal that I set for myself. I did the legwork and got the support to do it. I'm doing good. I'm working towards my goal. You should be able to pat your own self on the back instead of waiting
Mhm.
for someone to do that. So this was a great topic on developing and setting goals for yourself. So I appreciate it. Like, this was really good.
Good, thanks. I mean, I think in order to feel workplace satisfaction, you feel like you need to feel like you are working towards something that
Yeah.
is important to you, not just
Yeah,
to somebody else.
exactly.
And too many of us, myself included, within my
Yeah,
career,
we
made
all
the
have.
mistake of creating goals that really didn't keep me on track with what I wanted to accomplish.
Mhm.
And it took a it took a really blunt conversation with a mentor of mine to rethink how I approached those year-end conversations. And by creating specific goals, by identifying the actions that go into it, by recognizing the small steps within each action that I could do, by seeing other people who might have been successful in it before and building a meaningful relationship with them to rally them to my cause to help me gain that skill, to being comfortable once I've started to achieve these small milestones towards
Right.
my big goal, being able to actually toot my horn and send an email if it was, to my district manager and be like, hey, did you see this result? Yeah. Like
Exactly.
you need to feel that pride and ownership, because it doesn't matter if you're just going to be a part-time hourly employee who wants this as supplemental income.
Right.
you know if you want to maximize, if you want to make more money, so because this is a supplemental income, how can you do that?
Right.
You can. Are you leveraging all of the programs in order to earn? Are you maximizing? Are you in a dollar per hour area that is higher or lower? Or can you move laterally? Can you move up or
Right.
down within your current role?
Exactly.
Can you become a
Yeah.
specialist? Can you move to a different department that actually has a higher earning potential? There are so many ways that you can create specific goals for yourself, regardless of where you are in an organization, but it requires you to not just react. It requires you to put in a little bit of time and effort into thinking through what you want to accomplish.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
hopefully this was helpful. We are, as always, putting out companion articles. There's going to be a lot more detail in the companion articles around setting goals. And I hinted at it before, but we are actually coming out with a digital course and are going to be launching that hopefully at some point in Q1. And it really truly is all about how you can invest in yourself, regardless of industry. So keep your ear
Keep
to
your
the
eyes
ground on
open.
that one. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notifications button. As always, comment down below.
Please.
Um,
Yes. We love it.
we love it. We want to hear from you. Was this helpful? Was it not? And in the description box below, if you have any suggestions for future topics on self-development or even overcoming some challenging situations that you may find yourself in your environment or location, please reach out to us. Our email is down below, and we're always taking suggestions for new topics. Edward, what do we
So,
got?
well, so hopefully this year our goal is to set up a lot of self-development for you and yourself to use, and where you own and you take ownership of where you can develop yourself. So stay tuned. As Carrie said, we're looking forward to it. And as always, we see you, we hear you, you matter.
All right. Have a great one, guys.
Bye, guys.